Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 99 of the All Four Back podcast, the final episode of season 21. I'm, of course, Chester 430, and I'm joined tonight by, as always, Haddon 83. Good evening, sir.
Hello, how are you?
A good evening. I'm very good, mate. A good evening, Chad.
Greetings, everyone.
And a good evening to Tank.
Hello and good evening.
Well, guys, we've made the last meeting of the season of the All Four Back, and 99 episodes, and we're gutted not to make the 100, were we? So that's for next season. On tonight's program, we have a look back at the World Championship Grand Final that took place at Halifax on Sunday, where a brand new world champion was crowned. We have an On This Day with Shad. We have the Peterborough Spartans season review with Wolfie and Guest Hadlington. We have the all-important season 21 team of the season, and of course our end of season summary with all of us discussing what we've enjoyed about this current season. So, with all that being said, let's get on with the action. And we start off with the Grand Final World Championship at Halifax. And we had him on the show last week, had him down as a pre-meeting favourite, and he certainly delivered as Cam became the new world champion. It was looking like that Moretti was going to be the spoiler, having to go into this only finishing out of the points in his fourth ride. He had wins the rest of the season, the rest of the meeting, sorry. Tank, I'll bring it first for Campbell as the referee. A good meeting for you, and a great win for Cam.
Yes, it was. It was a joy to actually watch. I know there was a few comments going into the meeting about the track, but I think it turned out to be quite entertaining to watch. And it's the first time, hands down, that I've been nervous, and I've not even had to ride in it at all. I'm just refereeing it, and I was nervous, and I got nervous when it came to, I think it was Cam's last race, I think it was. And I remember putting in the chat at the time, I said I was nervous, and he said, "How do you think I'm feeling?" I'm pacing at the living room. So yeah, I was pleased for him, but I did call it on last week's show. I did say that if Cam was to win it, then him and Rico would be the first father-son duo to win the World Championship in the game's history, which came off. Like you said, Mareki easily could have been Mareki because he looked quite good all night, and a feat really, considering how he didn't do any laps until I think he said the Saturday night, and just a little bit, and then he went into it not really knowing the line as such, but he just did a couple of laps, got up to speed, and got a bit of better rub of the green for his races. He was very annoyed about the race he got big grass on bend 3 and got nothing, so that was the difference maker in the end. So had it not been for that, I don't think we would be sat here saying that Cam was world champion. But still, an entertaining meeting. Everyone pitched in, and even our very own Hads and Shaz, they got a win each as well, and a good showing.
Hooray.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. Talking of Hads and Shads, I'm going to bring them in now if I can. Had, as they started well with winning your first race, but again, that level of competition. I mean, just to score points was a bonus for you, wasn't it?
I'll say yes and no. I think I've practiced beforehand a few days, and I was like, this is going to go terribly. And the last few races before the meeting started, I don't know, something just clicked, and I was like, hold on a minute, I can ride this a little bit, and I won the first race quite comfortably, I think, as well. But then the second one, I mean, Shad should have beat me really in Heat 8. I mean, I think Mareki and Ona had a bit of a coming together on the straight, and we all like caught up with each other, and I ended up on the outside, and then Shad's ended up going in the grass on bend 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I finished behind Mareki and Unknown, and then the next race I finished behind Cam and Stefan, and I was beating Stefan for 2.5 laps, so can't really grumble. Those 4 were the top 4, so yeah, one of those. But the exclusion in the fourth one was, well, I actually finished the race with a 0. It was just pinged into the grass on bend 3. I thought I could get a couple of points there as well from that gate, and didn't happen, unfortunately. And the last one tried to jump the start, and yeah, the Saucier did get a really good start, to be fair, and I just battled with Ryan and got another point at the back. So I think overall couldn't really expect much more, but it was good to get a good to get a race win and see so many people getting race wins. To be honest.
And Shads, you as well, mate. You were a bit up and down. Good to have a good heat win in your third ride, but as I said to Hads, a good score despite the level that you were up against.
Yeah, I'm relatively satisfied with my score. I mean, those two grasses didn't really help, but once again, I've been saying it all season. If you don't gate, you're always chasing, and you end up doing silly lines that you shouldn't really be doing if you're leading. If you're leading, you can just pick the line and stay on the line. But yeah, I was pretty pleased. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a shock win for Cam. Somewhat of a surprise, I thought. I thought it would be a straight shootout between Stefan Marecki and Ryan, but Ryan didn't have his best meeting, and Marecki didn't do himself any favours, like Hank mentioned when he went into the grass on bend three of the first lap, and he was in second place at the time as well. I mean, I've got to say, it's a lack of the top riders in this competition this season. I mean, you've got Ads, Bobby, Craig, TJ, Eoshaw, and Limo. I mean, let's be honest, if they were racing, I'd be never, nowhere near the final. That's a fact. I've got to tell you something. Cam mentioned something to me a few days ago. He said, see if you can mention it on the pod. I made sure I made a note of it. If Unknown had beaten Cam in Heat 3, there would have been a four-way runoff for the title between Cam, Unknown, Stefan, and Marecki, all on 12
Oh,
points. How about that?
wow! It's not very often you
Wow.
get a
Never
chance.
know.
It's not very
I
often
never
you get like
noticed.
a four-man run off.
I never noticed that at the time, but Cam
No,
Mm.
maybe.
Cam messaged me the other day, said we mentioned it on the pod.
Well, I'm glad that I'm pretty sure then Cam's actually quite delighted that actually didn't happen
I think he
because
probably
that'd
was.
have been
I
that'd
think
been
it.
a quite
I
a
think it helped. It helped. He was using his dad's laptop, which is the newer one. His
mm.
laptop is a piece of garbage. He said. I think he used it. But I think he used it for four of his five races, which obviously helped him because he used it in practice. He used his own one, and he was terrible. But once he used his dad's laptop, he was a lot better. So That helped him.
So I've just seen the actual overall scores, and there was quite a few head-to-heads where there were people tied on points. They had Cam was finishing 13 points. Then he had Marecki and Stefan tying on 12. They had a runoff. Lofty beat Stephen 101 on a head-to-head, so he finished in fifth. Racer Ryan beat Speedy on a head-to-head, which was he scored eighth. And then Dret Lotka beat Shad on a head-to-head, which means he finished in P10. So again, despite having the clear winner, it was all from like the second and third down, where it was like who beat who and all that. So it was a great way to end the season for all those riders competing in the World Championships.
I
So
thought it was a
we
great
move
track
on.
as well. Lovely track as well, Dan. I must say.
I watched TJ stream, and it was actually pretty entertaining. Actually, it was
Yes, it's a nice, good track.
yeah. But yeah, congrats to Cam, Marecki, and Stefan taking the podium. So we now move on to our on this day with Mr. Shads. So Mr. Shads, take it away.
Yeah, this week we travel back 13 years to season 11, 21st of March 2013, and the end of season Neil Potter Shield final, fought out between the British League champions, Manchester Storm, and the side that finished third that season was the Glasgow Cowboys. There are only 4 points between these two at the end of the league season, so this result could have been seen as a little bit of a surprise, especially as the Cowboys had already defeated Storm at home in the league 5 weeks earlier by 50 points to 46. As you can see, there were only the teams were level at the halfway stage after 8 heats, but Storm stepped it up in the second half with 4-5-1s and a 4-2 in the final 8 races. The second leg took place immediately after this on the same night, with Storm continuing their domination with a 59-37 win, a convincing aggregate of 116-76. It was a formality for Storm, with the Cowboys only managing 2 heat wins in that second meeting, one more than they managed in their home leg. And it went pretty much the same as the league meeting between these two sides here early in the season, when it finished 56-40 to Storm. Stefan top scored for Storm. It's a surprise. Over the 2 legs with 23 points. Chrissy and Rico were joint top scorers for the Cowboys over the 2 legs with 20 points each. There's a few names there that may be familiar to most of you. 6 of the 12 that took part in this meeting raced this past season, and Paris only quit the game relatively recently. Quite surprised to see Race of Iron at reserve ending up the season on a 6.63 average. It shows the strength in depth the Storm side had. One name some of you won't recognise is Mr. Mungo. And there's a fun fact here, and I've had it checked. Mr. Mungo is indeed Stefan's brother. There were 6 teams in the league that season, same as this, but what makes it different is those sides had 9 rider squads. The previous season, season 10, there were 9 teams of 9 riders each. But shockingly, the season after this, season 12, there was only 4 sides in the league that season contesting the league with 9 rider squads. Quite a decline in the popularity of the game during this period, I think.
So now we have reached the final team review of the season, and that is the Peterborough Spartans. And we are delighted to say we've been joined by Hastings Dragons rider this season, Wolfie. Good evening, sir.
Evening, gents. Thanks for
Evening,
having me
mate.
on.
No worries. Thanks for popping in, mate, and doing this review for us. So, Peterborough Spartans, the floor is yours, my good sir.
Yeah, Spartans had a fantastic season this season. I think DL put together a fantastic team with the points he had available to him. It looked like a team at the start of the season that was always going to improve, and they went into the season as people's favourites for the exact reason that turned out. It was a bit of a two-way tie with Storm there or thereabouts early on, and then drifted away. But you always had a feeling Spartans just had that little bit in hand. And for me, the top 3 was one of the best in the league's history based on this season's form. But that's just my humble opinion. So let's have a closer look at the team's statistics. We'll start with Steph. Crucially, they raced in all 10 of the league meetings. Only upped his average by a minuscule amount, but to maintain an average and actually improve on an average over 10.5 for me shows how good he actually is. He raced in all of the league meetings, all of the cup meetings, the pairs and the 4-team tournament. It's what you need when you've got your number one like that. The better his availability is, the better the team will perform. And as it says there, Steph's a rider you can really build a team around, and that, paid max and maximum total of 7 of them throughout the season. That's remarkable in my opinion. Steph also had some really good backup from Ads MFT, who really did improve this season. Again, like Steph, raced in all of the league meetings and all of the cup pairs and 4-team tournament, and got himself a paid maximum or a full maximum at home as well. Ads is a rider that had a couple of difficult seasons, and this one it's really clicked, and he's found that form and he's back up to the Ads that we all know he can be, adding 1.24 to his league average as well, which I think's incredible because he's a really good rider. And when we speak to Carl in a little bit, we'll touch on the importance of those 2 at the top of the team as well. The skipper is up next. DL wasn't available probably as much as he would have liked, racing in 13 of the meetings with 8 in the league, 4 in the cup and the 4-team tournament, and he was the unused reserve in the pairs as well. But did delegate the rides between his team to cover when he wasn't available, and he put 1.43 onto his average as well, and that really solidified that top 3 to show where the damage was done in meetings. And then we come on to Adlington 83, who himself had a fantastic season this time around, got his average up to over 8 points at the mid-season change. Did drop a little bit at the end of season change, but still from a 5.33 to a 7.92, that's for me an incredible increase on his average, and he really looked like that heat leader as well to back up the top 3, and only missed 1 meeting across the course of the season. For this, I should point out, these statistics are pre-Neil Potter Shield meetings. But yeah, that's the importance of that as well. And then we look at the lower end of the team. Birch, he added to his average, actually ended up dropping to reserve, even though he increased his average, which shows how strong this Spartans team actually was. that Birchie dropped down despite his average going up with a high score of 11, paid 14 in league and cup competition. We then look at probably for me the best, the most improved of the Spartans team, the unsung hero, if you like, with Le Sorcier up in his average by a shade under 3 points. And that's a real improvement. I mean, he much like Birchie, raced at reserve for the second half of the season as well. And then you've got Alan, the only rider in the team whose average actually dropped, and that was Carl will probably attest to this, but that was probably because of his availability and the lack of practice he was able to put in more than anything. Really fed off the experience of Steph and adds at the top of that team, and did score some good points, just wasn't able to really put in the performances I think he would have liked to have put in. When we look at the use of Spartan's squad, they had 4 guests across the course of the season, but only one of them was a league rider. The other were taken by Rossi and Pot 2310, with Cappy being the other guest. You know, the role of honour, and this pains me to say as a Dragons rider, knowing that most of these were done at our expense. The league champions, knockout cup champions, runners up in the pairs, reserve pairs champions, 4-team tournament champions. Also had the BGP champion with Steph and the Neil Potter Shield champions. So, in summary, it was a really good season for the Spartans, and that home track and the team that DL put together was, for me, up there as one of the best in STS history.
That was very good there, Wolfie. Must admit, very, very good. You got some questions for Hads, I believe, whilst we've got him here.
Yes. So, Mr. Hads, what would you sum up? How would you sum up this season as a whole for the team of Spartans?
It's hard just to say. Probably a few words, because obviously you can see that there, Roll of Honour. That doesn't include the Sorcier as well, coming second in the STS, I think it was, second or third, to get into the GPs as well, for rider riding at reserve. I've not known a team like it. I've never been part of a team like within that squad that, you know, everything's like down to a T, and they've got it all organised, and that's down to DL and ads, just making sure everything's ready, and obviously Stefan as well, with all the lines and the track is of all the tracks, and if we can replicate what they're doing, then we're not going far wrong, and just brilliant, to be honest. And we are actually planning an end of season meet up at some point, which is going to be good, hopefully. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really enjoyable season.
And I mentioned during the review there as well, having raced in a team with Steph before, he really has that ability to bring everyone else in the team up with him, as well as doing his own stuff. Did that play a part in your success individually this season as well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know Ads touched on it, I think, on the team page on Facebook. People say, oh, yeah, it's a Stefan effect. And if you haven't rode with Stefan, once you have in the league, you'll know exactly what that means, because everybody raises their game. So hold on a minute, he can do that. I want to beat him. I'll do that. And some of the practice sessions were just unreal. And knowing that we can do that in practice sessions, sometimes I think towards the end, like, I think some of the practice sessions were probably harder than some of the matches, without sounding, because trying to race against them three on a regular, and you're just getting smashed around. But yeah, that effect is there, and anybody who's rode in the team, I think, will tell you the exact same, and it pushes everybody else on, knowing that especially for me, riding at number 4, I know I'm going out in Heat 1, and he's the other rider. I haven't got to worry about like scoring the points if in that first heat, if it goes wrong, but because I know he'll be there doing it. So yeah, it takes that little bit of pressure off as well.
We spoke about Alan's availability a little bit as well. He had a real good opportunity to learn in this team, and when he was available, he was decent enough. Was it a bit frustrating? Obviously availability can't be out. Was it a bit frustrating that he wasn't maybe around as much to practice and soak in the information like the rest of the team?
At times, a little bit, I'd say, yeah. But I think some of the days as well didn't fall kindly for him and Birchie, I think, towards the end especially. But Alan, he's if he says he's going to be there, he'll be there. He might be half an hour late, but he'll be there. But when he's there, and I think he needs to take on board what some of the other, especially the experienced guys, have said to him. Especially that last meeting, he was really frustrated, but he was like perfect for 3 laps, and then he'd go wandering for that little bit off the line, that little bit, and he get passed and he get beaten, and he was beating himself up. But it's just small. If he can make them small little adjustments, there's no reason why he can't put another point on his average easily, because he's capable when he's there. I mean, when I went into that last practice session in the Neil Potter Shield, and I'm in Alan's like at the second, third in most races, I'm like, hold on a minute, I've got to step up here because I need to be doing that. And yeah, if he puts the time in it, he's really capable, but it's getting him there all the time, which obviously we all have different commitments away from this game.
And a lot was made at the start of the season. This Spartans team went in as favourites, and rightfully so. Did you feel the pressure of that, or was it just a chance to go in and race together and let that tag just sit there and let other people worry about you being favourites and you're talking in the meetings?
Yeah, I think the talking in the meetings is probably the best way to sum it up and let people worry about us rather than we worry about them, kind of thing, because we can control what we're doing. Not them. I mean, I think I can't remember which meeting it was, and we was losing on like a 4-2 in one of the races, and 2 of their riders got in each other's way, and we ended up getting a 5-1. It's like, well, that's their doing, not ours. We just taking advantage of, what the situation. And I think that's more the teams are worried about messing up when they're in front of us, kind of thing. But yeah, I think that altogether, I think not really. I think there was more pressure, probably, personally, when I was riding number 2, because I'm expected to win those reserve races, kind of thing. And then when you don't, it's like, oh, yeah, could have lost a few points here and there. But yeah, apart from that, really, I think going in number 4, knowing I've got 2 rides with Stefan and 3 with DL, I mean, it's not really pressure. It's more pressure in them trying to carry me through them heats as well. But it's not really that much pressure on my shoulders, to be fair.
The choice of Peterborough, it's a track that is on paper relatively even, but you boys just dialed in round it, and it was a bit of a fortress there. You beat everybody that come there and quite comfortably as well. How did the choice for that track come about?
Well, obviously, like any other team, we had quite a few in the mix, and it was Ads or Stefan, and like we practiced it a little bit, and I was like, hold on a minute, we want to try that one again, and we ended up going back to it, and it was like, oh, hold on a minute, that's like, it was just one of the lines, and I think it was Stefan Ads, they were finding it tough to like, hold on a minute, we can't find the line straight away. Yeah, we might be onto something, and once they found it, it just clicked, and we all kind of followed them, and we thought, well, if they can, if they're struggling to find it, what are the away teams going to be like? Especially with people not putting in as much practice as other teams do. So yeah, I think that was the main reason. And then once it clicked, it was just go, and really, really good.
And just finally from me, you mentioned earlier there's a plan for a meet-up and stuff. The last time I know of this happening was a Phoenix one, and that was an all-conquering Phoenix team. This Spartans team, for me, was up there with as good as some of those Phoenix teams. In your opinion, will this go down as one of the best whole teams in the game's history, or at least modern history?
I think it's tough to say, but obviously any team with Stefan in is gonna be talked about, I think, and it's. I know I've seen people comparing the two in the chats, and the Phoenix team won all the individual competitions as well, and this, that, and the other. But I think just being part of this team and having that first league title, I know it was DL's first and Birch's first as well, which makes it, three of us getting our first one in a team like this is like amazing, to be fair. And I think that meetup is gonna happen at some point, and as long as our mate from Scotland doesn't get lost on his flight on the way here,
As long as his availability's there.
I think we'll be all right. unless he's coming from the dungeon.
And that's all I've got. But personally, through gritted teeth, I want to pass on congratulations for everything this season. Obviously, I'll get another bridesmaid's dress, never the bride, and all of that. But we gave you a good run. You boys are just in the end were just that little bit better and more consistent. So congratulations on all of the success this year.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Wolfie, for that rather detailed presentation. Thanks for popping in as always, mate. And we'll get on a few more times during next season, hopefully, as well. Thanks, mate.
Nice one. Cheers, gents.
No worries, mate. And also, whilst I got you here, Had, with like a final question, is what meeting during the season did you think to yourself, right, we're going to win this league this year? Which one sort of stood out for you the most as the one that did it?
I think it's hard to pinpoint one. I think obviously towards the end, knowing we've got that last couple of matches, and then I think it was the Storm meeting before we rode the Dragons, and we're thinking, hold on, yeah, that'll if we win this one, it's still capable of they can catch us, but we know that we're at home, and I think getting that win in that meeting was probably the more important, because it gives us that little bit more of a gap, and from then on, I think we've just heads down, do what we do, and then it'll come, and it happened, fortunately.
And just obviously spare a thing for your captain, DL. In 3 seasons, he's gone third, second, first. So I'm guessing this championship for him must have been pretty special for all you guys as a whole.
Oh yeah. I was mentioning just myself and Birchie and DL was our first league title, so putting up together, and that's it. If anybody has listened to that song that Ad's done on Facebook,
Mate, it's great.
It actually includes that in the first little bit, and it's class. And
mate, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to get into a team ever since Dynamite stopped, and it's just never happened, and it's never fell like in the same groups. And I think, obviously, you'll probably have to ask him, but to get in that team, knowing that he'd built the team, obviously people, availability, and experience as well. At the same point, having the associated reserve, it was just a joke really towards the end of the season. If you watch that World Final, that last race when he gates, and he's just gone, and he's like, there's Ryan in that race and somebody else, and it's just fantastic really. And DL's put it all together, and it's paid off, and we take that first league championship.
Yeah, so we were going to have DL in at some point this season, but because of behind the scenes stuff with us, and then his availability kind of never happened. But we're hoping to get DL if he does become captain next season and brings back the Spartans name, to get him on the show for a quick chat, as we always do. So next up, we have got the all-important team of the season. Now, of course, all of us, all 4 back guys, have been making our own team of the season. So we're going to go through them one by one. I'm going to start off with Tank, your team of the season.
Yeah, my team of the season I went with the very obvious choice of Stefan, then Mareki, and that top 2 in the GPs made sense. The new world champion in Cam, and then I put Hadlington in, I put Shads in, I put Riso 2 in as well.
What?
Sounding a bit surprised there.
You a bit surprised there, Shad.
Say that again. You put me in.
Yeah.
It did indeed, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Wow.
The check must have cleared then.
Oh wow. Well, I've gone down the same route
Wow.
as pretty much Tank with a couple of different situations here. I've gone for my team of the season, Stefan, just because he's done it again, broken all the records. I went with Mareki again with the Panthers. He was the standout rider that we had, pushed Stefan all the way in the VGP. I've gone for Cam as well, the new world champion. I've also added Hadlington as another member, just because he's had a fantastic season, and hope he continues next season as well. I've put in Bobby, despite with the Cowboys not doing so well, he was the standout rider for them, and of course in the SDS where he won 3 of his last 4 meetings that he took part in. Rico again with SDS, clear favourite and consistent throughout the league. And then I put Reese. I say Reese was before Rico being a 6-man team. I put Reese in, and then put Rico as a honourable mention. And again, same with Bobby. Was consistent throughout the league. So yeah, that's my team of the season: Stefan, Mareki, Cam, Hathington, Bobby, and Reese, with Rico getting a honourable mention. Next team of the season, and we go to, if I'm right in saying, we go to Mr. Shad. Your team of the season, sir.
Oh, mine's pretty boring. It's just 2 teams involved, Spartans and Dragons. Stefan at 1. Say no more. At 2, I've gone for Le Sorcier. At 3, I've gone for Cameron. Hads at 4. Ads at 5. And Reese, who's had a great season, at 6.
Oh, impressive there.
Or pretty boring.
Well, Had's getting a clean sweep from his all 4 back compatriots there. So
well, and much deserved as well.
Much deserved, Hads, yeah. And talking of Hads, your team of the season, sir.
Yeah, I'm probably obviously going to be a bit biased enough, really.
Oh.
Bit of the same as Shad's, really. I went for Stefan as number 1, Le Sorcier at number 2, number 3, DL Short, number 4, I went with Squall, who I think he started off in 4th down in the averages for Dragons,
Because you
and
couldn't put yourself in.
ended up as number 1. Yeah, well, you'll be surprised at the people who voted and did put themselves in, to be honest.
Really?
But obviously, I'm not the kind of person to do that. But Ads MFT number 5 and Reese at number 6. For the voting, there was 18 people who voted out of 42, which rode in the league to finish the season. Which I know it's only a bit of fun, but it's a 2-minute thing. I mean, if we can't do a 2-minute thing, we're struggling really next season, aren't we? But and as the voting went, 2 people actually were tied on votes, so there is actually 7 people in the team of the season, which I shall pass over to Mr. Tank to announce.
Indeed. So the team of the season for season 21 is, with 14 votes, is Stefan. With 11 votes, you also have Mareki and Cam. Ads got 10 votes, as did the Sorcier. Hadlington got 13 votes, and Riso 2 got 16 votes, more than Stefan.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
So the top to tell is
Excellent.
Stefan, Mareki, Ads MFT, Cam, Hadlington 83, the Sorcier, and Riso 2.
Who didn't vote for Reese at number 7? Reese?
No, he actually voted for himself.
Oh, did he?
He did indeed.
Who thought there was a better reserve? Who thought there was a better reserve than Reese?
Yeah, 2 people didn't vote for him. I don't really want to mention names, to be fair.
I think you should.
Oh dear me. Let's just say both of them rode for Spartans, and I wasn't one of them.
Okay.
that narrows it down a bit, doesn't it, then,
Narrows it
chaps?
down a little bit. There you go.
Brilliant. So that was the team of the season for season 21. Congratulations to those 7 riders that were voted for by members of the STS community. And yeah, let's see what season 22 shall bring for us, chaps, shan't we? And well, that's it for tonight. That is it. Of course, we have our links as always. What you see, and you've been enjoying what you've been hearing this season, want to get involved with all things sliders. Here are links of our website, forum, Discord, YouTube, Facebook, and of course Twitter that gets updated on a regular basis. And I'm sure during the off season, if you want to get involved, one of our wonderful team members will get you involved, and maybe we'll see you on track at the end, at start of next season. So that's it. Season 21 is done, and it's been quite an entertaining season. Just want to go one by one for you guys. What your highlight was? Shad, you first.
Highlight for me personally, or for the season?
Overall, yeah, overall.
Overall, seeing a few guys taking tentative steps to come back. I think Mark W40 and Megalomonic and Aaron as a new rider, maybe coming back for next season. Uh, Personally, up in my average, probably could have been a little bit more if some of my teammates would have scored a few more points, and I wouldn't have had to go into the middle order of the side, which I wasn't happy about. I prefer riding at reserve. I'm a reserve. I'm not a middle order rider. No, it's I had a few sort of like dodgy moments during the season where I just thought, oh, this is getting too much. I can't be bothered anymore. But then towards the end of the season, I think the Christmas break, I think I mentioned it before, the Christmas break done us a world of good, and I got back into it, and yeah, looking forward to next season. Now I'm not retiring.
Yet. Not
I'm
retiring yet.
No, I'm not retiring. I'm looking forward to next season.
Had your overall review of the season. I'm sure you've got the main one of your Spartans winning the league this season. So anything else that took your mind to talk about?
Just being in the team with people I haven't been in a team with before was good, and then obviously being a part of a winning team as well, which was even better, to be honest.
It's a good feeling.
Up in the average. Be what with the big boys, starting with the big boys next season, so that's something to look forward to. But now I think as well, just coming on here every week, and all 4 of us like put time in and with this, and we do it for everybody else, and I think that we've continued to do it for 99 episodes. It's really good going, to be fair. So I mean, especially Tank, who does all the producing as well and refereeing and video highlights. I think people like him, they don't come along all the time, and obviously Ben for the reffing and the highlights he did as well for the SCS stuff. We used to have to thank them people and hope that these people stick around and we can get more involved to do that kind of thing, because it does take its toll on people eventually. And yeah, it's just been good to keep coming back with you guys every week and just keep having a laugh, to be fair.
Yeah, mate, it's been great. Tank, what's your overall summary of the season?
Yeah, it's been a very good season. League wise, it was obviously, as Wolfie said before, it was a 2-horse race effectively. But then in the BGP, we had, for most of it, we had a 3-way, and that race with Cam being in it before he fought towards the end. And I think it was the first time in probably 6 seasons that Stefan nearly lost being the BGB champion. So seeing Murphy push him all the way, that for me was a highlight. In terms of Panthers being in the team, I would say I think it was lovely to be in the same team as Murphy again. I've been his captain before, so I knew what to expect. Cappy, never been in a team with him before. Tell you what, I'd love to be in a team with him again. Oh no, he is something else. But aside from that, away from that, obviously, as mentioned, I've done the highlights. I do obviously the producing for this, and then get it out for a Saturday at 8 o'clock every week. So it has been very tasking to do, and a learning curve and getting into the swing of it. I'm looking forward to the break. I won't deny that. But at the same time, I have enjoyed it, and I'm getting better at what I've done. So, but no, if as I say, if anyone wants to, do highlights or anything really, if you've got the time to do it and you can do it, then there are us that can do it and will teach you and get you on board. Don't be afraid to ask. I mean, I won't say no. I mean, I might, do this and do that, but it is what it is. And yeah, I I must be a master at refereeing the amount I've done. I, I mean, I just get on with it really. But
Yeah.
it's I do enjoy the refereeing side of it, and we'll see what next season brings. Really, I would also, on the refereeing side of things, want to thank Ben Thompson. I know he had a change of job during the season, and availability meant he couldn't really referee like he was doing. And I did try and get him to referee a couple of meetings towards the end of the season, but availability for him didn't sit obviously right for him to do so. And also he's been doing the highlights, and I know he's been trying to keep up with it with me doing mine, but I understand. To give context for anyone that really wants to know, you watch a video for 15 minutes, but my videos highlights themselves will be it will take me 3 to 4 hours per video. So every meeting you see put on YouTube, that's the League One, Neil Potter Shield, and the Knockout Cup are the ones I've done. That's 45 or 46 meetings. Took 3 to 4 hours per video, and then I would imagine is around the same. I don't know, but I'm estimating. But he's done 22 out of the 23 that would be available. And that's so it gives you kind of idea of kind of like the levels and the time that are put into it. So, and then aside from that, I can tell you that a podcast episode, editing wise, can take me from 2 to 3, and if I'm being very picky, it can take me 4. But that's just the perfection in me. That is so. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But as a season overall, it's been a very good one, entertaining. I've loved it. And doing the highlights and obviously trying to race at the same time. It has helped me. Not that it's probably shown in my personal performance, but that's a talk for another day, and see how next season goes.
Absolutely, Tank. And for me, it's just been, doing the podcast with you guys. I mean, yeah, my season hasn't been really good in terms of my scoring wise, but being a part of a team this season, having been number 7 last year or number 8 last year with Dragons, but being a part of this year, getting more meetings in, it's just been enjoyable. Really, I've just really enjoyed it. And yeah, will I come back next season? Who knows? See what the off season brings. And yeah, I just want to say thanks to you guys for making our night entertaining. And long may it continue. I believe that Shad, you've got a question for us all. I believe before we do finish off.
Yes, just a question for all three of you individually. You can answer individually. On your time in SCS, I know, Dan, you haven't raced many seasons, but you've been around for a while. On your time in SCS, who has helped or influenced you the most in the game?
Who wants to start off? Oh, hang on, go on, Tank.
I would say the one that helped me the most. I would say it's got to be between two. I would say. I would go with a very old school name in Mav, because it was him that got me into the game.
Oh,
And then I would say Craig, because he took me under his wing. And then between them two, that's how it all started with me getting involved in the game, racing, becoming captain, and then joining, being a referee, pool organizer, and then obviously it snowballed from there. So I would say they were who helped me, and my influences was probably Craig and that, but between Craig and Stefan, it's been around them as well. So if I was to put three people in, it's Mav, Craig, and Stefan.
Wow.
wow.
I would say for me, I'd go on the same lines with you, Tank, say Craig, because he got me started in the game all those years ago. Yeah, I took a few years out. Just lost interest in the game really when I was like sort of getting through. Then of course I bought my own laptop a couple of years ago during the old lockdown phase, and debating whether to come back. You know, I downloaded, deleted, downloaded, deleted. I thought, do I? Do I? Of course, the season was coming along, and jumped in the Dragons training server, and the rest is history. So I've got to say thanks to Squall for that as well, because he got me back in, and then and yeah, Catesy as well, get me in the team for the Panthers this year too. Where will I be next year? I don't know. Will I sign up? I don't know. See how things go. Because also I think we all need that break, don't we? We all need that break. Just to tone down a bit. So yeah, I would say Craig, Squall, and I would say Capesy as well. As have you got?
I'm going to start off on probably ones that you wouldn't expect. He's going to be Paris, because we played I still play, he doesn't, a play-by-mail game, and that's how I got to know him originally. And he says, have you tried sliders? And he was I was the same as you, Danny. He kept pestering me, and in the end I got a laptop and ended up playing.
Mm.
And then I ended up in a couple of servers, and then the first season I have to say Squall, because I was in that team with Shads as well, and
Sunderland Dragons.
Sunderland Dragons on that
Team.
lovely track. Oh God, yeah. But to be fair, he gave me that chance, and I think I've had 9 meetings that first league season, which was probably unheard of at that time. I think the bottom riders got like 4 or 5 meetings. So yeah, and then obviously we moved on to Dynamite, and I had Stephen 101 as captain, vice captain with me for a few years, and then but before that it was we had the summer league, and I ended up in a team with Stefan, strangely or not. And obviously, if you don't get tips off Stefan, I mean, when you're racing with him, and obviously I'd only done 1 season, so that helped me. And then that next season, I went from being like just under 4 average to like over 6, and I think without that summer league, I don't think that had happened, to be honest. So yeah, and then obviously this season, DL bringing me back to ride with him, and obviously it just happened that Stefan was there as well. So yeah, that it worked out quite well.
Shaz, what about you?
Yeah, there's three people I want to mention. The first one you'd be surprised at, and it's Spook, the name that I don't like to say, but to his credit, he's the guy who got me into the game in the first place. I met him through the British Speedway Forum. Funny enough, we were both Rye House fans at the time, and I didn't know him. We was chatting. He'd seen my comments, and I bumped into him at Reading, of all places, in 2006 for a Rye House meeting at Reading, and sort of like introduced himself. Yeah. So we got chatting, we got quite friendly, and then he told me about this Speedway game online. I thought, whoa, right. That. So I went round to his flat, and he showed me the game. So I brought my computer around because I didn't trust myself to do it, and he downloaded it all for me, showed me how it worked. I was hopeless. Even worse than that, if you can believe that. Yeah, he was the one who got me into it. I raced for him. I raced with him in my first season, in season 2, the Newport Storm, with the second guy I want to mention is Lango. Lango and me started at exactly the same time, season 2, start season 2. got quite close, friendly, although we never met until quite a few years after that. And then when Tintin resigned as skipper of Storm at the end of season 2, I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I thought I'd give captaincy a go at the start of season 3 and chose Lango as my vice captain. And us two were on the phone every day, talking tactics, who we're going to put in the next, who we're going to put in, what we're going to do, all sorts of things. We were on the phone all the time. We didn't have Messenger, we didn't have Discord. So we just chatted on the phone. And he took over the captaincy after I was banned by Spook. Thank you, Mr. Spook. And we carried on to win the league that year. So I sort of rode sort of 2/3 of the league. And the last guy I want to mention, you probably don't know him. ICBNIB. I can't believe it's not Butter. It was my vice captain. My vice captain at Newcastle. Who was it now? Newcastle. Anyway, he was in Newcastle in season 5. And tactically, I'm not that great. So he was my vice captain, and he was brilliant. What gates we're going to go for, and he left the geeing up of the riders to me, and he was just a tactical. He was like my Peter Taylor to Brian Clough, if you know what I mean. Brian Clough, not tactical at all, and Peter Taylor was the guy who did all the hard work. I've got to give big credit to ICB. I just called him Trevor because that was his name. I couldn't be bothered with all that ICIMB stuff. Anyway, he's the third guy anyway, and he was a great rider, great bloke to have in the team. And shame he left the game, but I think he moved to America, so we didn't see him again.
Tank, you have one more to mention?
Yeah, I was meant to mention it before. The one other person that influenced me on the game that's kept me going is the aptly named Neil Pottershield that we've had this season. Because obviously everyone that knows obviously nearly passed away, and that many years ago. And to keep his name alive, he loved the game. He did so many hours with Mav making tracks, and obviously the track that the Spartans ridden on this season was actually done by Neely, and I think it was one of the last ones he done. I believe I wouldn't hold me to that, but I think it was. He loved the game. I do know him, between him and Mav, they spent so many hours. I think they were up until the small hours of the morning, sometimes doing tracks. I know they spend most evenings and mornings. And it was just enjoyment for Neely, and his love for the game influenced me. And then when that happened, I guess it empowered me to want to continue, and then I just learnt some stuff. So it was down to Neely and that who's influenced me as well. So whilst I said there was 3, that the 4th one ultimately, and I never let his name go, it's always going to be Neely as well.
Lovely words there, Tank. Lovely words.
Yeah.
And a fitting way to end the show. Chaps, before we do go, if you could sum up this season in just one word, what would it be? Hads, I'll start with you first.
Wow, superb.
Shads?
Spartans.
Tank?
It's all about the Spartans.
Joyous.
And I'm going to say entertaining.
I've got one
Gentlemen,
more
it is...
to say.
Go on then.
Fall back.
I was waiting for that.
We're not going to finish on that, Chad. Oh, goodness me. Oh, well, we will actually.
Yes, got it in.
Chaps, it has been an absolute pleasure to do this with you this season. We hit episode 100 at the start of next season. We don't know what's it going to be or how we're going to do it, but episode 100 is going to be a milestone for the Awful Back podcast. And we want to thank all of you guys that have been with us from episode 1 when we used to do it live in a Discord live chat, all the way to the pre-recorded up to 99. This has been a hell of a journey, and it's going to continue as long as we can go. I'm sure it is. So for the final time this season, season 21 comes to a close. I will say a good night and thank you to Hadlington.
Good night, Daniel. Thank you very much too.
A good night and a massive thank you to Shads.
Good night, fellas. See you next season.
A good night and a massive thank you again also goes to Tank for all his hard work. Thank you, Tank, and good night.
Thank you very much, and good night, and see you all next season.
And it is a good night from me, Chester 430. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in over the past 9 episodes. We'll be back, brand new season. Stick around for all your the social medias for all the information that you need for STS season 22. Can the Spartans retain, or will a new team take the challenge on and get the Spartans run for their money? Chaps, it's a fine farewell. Take care, all the best, and good night from all four back.